Good. I hope you're great. So I've been up since early hours of the morning. But now I was just taking a walk and I thought of something when I was walking. I just thought about the people that have passed in my life and the lessons that they've taught me. And this, I think, is brought by a conversation with my neighbor who I bumped into yesterday and we crossed over, after a while. We hadn't seen each other in a few weeks or so. And he just said to me he admired my strength. And I said, my strength? He's like, yeah, you lost your brothers, you lost your parents, which are close deaths, and yet your grace and the way you walk and the way you carry yourself, even like in our community, we still, you've done it with so well, with respect and with humility and grace and so forth. And it was strange. I don't know why we had to have that conversation. I think maybe God wanted to just bring a message to me in some form, in some way, shape or form. But this morning I thought of that conversation we had, and it got me to think about the lessons that I've learned from the passing of a few of these people that he was mentioning. And these are the people that he knows, but I've lost a lot more people than that. I've lost close friends, I've lost super close cousins. In the past 5 years, and I've had a lot of deaths in my life. And I think there is a trauma to that, which I've been able to unpack and heal through my music and my art. But the one of my parents is still a sore place because I'm still unpacking. Um, but I'm present for the journey, and that's what counts. Anyway, my oldest brother, when he passed on, I learned from him because of his character. He was such a straight shooter. He never could say no to me purely because I understood how to get the yes from him. And the only way to get a yes from him is to ask him in advance, to give him an opportunity to assess before he brings you the answer, and then to take whatever the response is. So I would always ask him for a favor in advance. And whenever I asked him to take me to school or wherever, I knew that he would never be late. And also, he will never drive fast. So if you are in a hurry, you better get there by yourself. And if you know you're not going to keep time, you must know that when he shows up and you're not ready, he will leave. He will not wait for you. So that made a lot of people not like him in that regard. They would, because people want to always get away with the wrong. They never want to say, oh, I'm always late. No, they like to say, why don't you just bend the rules, be flexible kind of vibe. But anyway, I love the fact that he didn't care. He lived by his principles, and people got to know that if you're not in line, he will leave without you. He will do whatever he needed to do, that guy. He was such a rock star. Not a perfect being, but a rock star. Because for me, he was a man who was wise. He loved reading, always had a newspaper with him, always informed, always had an opinion about everything, but also knew when to offer it and to who to offer it. And then he also was easy. He knew how to gel with everybody. You didn't have to be educated to gel with him or to be in conversation with him. But at the same time, you would not come to him sideways because he will put you in your place. And what I learned from him and with his passing is that own your voice. Stand for what you stand for, even if you stand alone. That way, even when you fall with integrity. You fall with conviction. You fall knowing that you didn't betray yourself. That's what I learned from my older brother, Franz Sihlang. My second brother, Sbu, he was a people's person. He was streetwise, very kind. My father's closest child. My father really loved him. They had a bond that I don't think any of us as sons had with him. Each of us had a unique bond, but my brother really understood my father. And what I learned from his passing is that people will love you more when you are dead than when you are alive, because my brother was so kind, so loving, but life didn't give him the best of cards, and he did the best he could and hustled and worked hard. And a lot of people that had an opportunity to give him a hand up, a leg up, didn't. But ever since he's passed on, every time people run into me, they're like, oh, Putwako, he was so amazing. You remind us of him. You look like him. They tell me all these stories. All of a sudden, everybody loved him so much, yet they never visited him when he was alive. They never gave him a helping hand when they had an opportunity to, even when he was kind, even when he would go far and beyond for all of the people that he loved and the people that asked him. But a lot of people just didn't show up for him. And all of a sudden, now that he's gone, they love him more than they do. So, my older brother taught me to die with convictions, stand on what I stand for. My second oldest brother, he taught me that people love you more when you're dead. So, the lesson here is just do you anyway, because people are just going to be people. Then my mom and dad. Ooh, mom and dad. Those ones taught me that abantu abaneliseki. Like people will never get satisfied. You will give and give and give, and people will want more. People are like the ground. No matter how much rain falls, at the end of the day, it still dries up and it becomes dry and dusty. That's how people are sometimes. In fact, most people are takers. That's what my parents taught me. And my parents sacrificed so much. My parents were the kind that would not eat just because neighbors are here and they're hungry, and make sure that the neighbors are good. And if there's leftovers, they'll have something. And if there's no leftovers, they wouldn't mind going to bed hungry. And child, I've learned that people will take advantage of that. They will come, they'll take advantage. They will say, "Oh, you won't eat." They will eat and then go and still have at their own place and go enjoy whilst you have nothing. So nje. My parents' life taught me this, that no matter how much you do for people, people will people are sometimes so self-serving that they are just here to take, and once you're gone, they don't even take the moment to come back to the ones that at least are left behind to honor you because you sacrifice so much for them. Nope. People are going to be about what they're about. They want to move on to find another person to just suck dry, basically. So, my parents taught me, I think my parents' passing made me hard, guys. It made me very hard. And I'm a person who's a lover and a giver, and I love giving. But I also have become very hard in knowing that if I can't give, I can't give. I shouldn't force myself. But even when I can give, that I should assess, because people are just takers. Lastly, this is the most recent death. One of my teachers passed away, who I loved, who I honored. Um, and unfortunately, he's in the education space, and unfortunately, his passing was untimely because he didn't, he was not sick. He was just stolen from us by a few people who thought they had a right over his possessions and his life. But what I learned from his passing is that life goes on. Life goes on, Shem. And I know that unfortunately, by the nature of circumstances, they had to replace him ASAP because of the job that he does and the responsibilities that he has. So the company had to have interviews even before he was buried, and they had to find a person to take over his post before he's even been a week in the ground, kind of a situation. And I don't blame them because they have to do what they have to do. But what I learned is that life goes on, especially when I saw his office being cleared and programs being made and plans being made, because plans have to be set up for the new year. I learned that life goes on. Why am I having this post Xing Gangara in the AMs? Like, it's not even yet 6 a.m., to tell you the honest truth. I've been up since 3, and I've been thinking about a lot of other things, doing some work. But this post just came to my mind, and I'm sharing it with you to say, do what you need to do. As we get into the preps for 2024 and you're planning 2024, whatever you plan, don't forget to put yourself first. Now, don't be selfish and think about you and you alone, but put yourself first, because the only person that really, really can put you first is you. And people will live on, people will move on. They might not forget. I still carry my parents everywhere I go. I still carry my brothers everywhere I go. I'm still hurting over my teachers that I've lost. More so my parents though. Like my parents, it still hurts. But even in that hurting doesn't stop me from loving, living, giving, enjoying, and sometimes being so caught up in moments that you could almost swear you forget because you are so present in whatever you are enjoying. But seconds later, you wish they were in the room to enjoy it with you. What I'm saying in a nutshell is that life goes on with or without you. Life and people will choose themselves and they will further their agenda before yours. So don't be caught up sacrificing your pizza because you want to do something for everybody and never getting to enjoy the pizza, because they will enjoy the pizza and not in your memory. They'll enjoy it in their own right. Do it for you. I might not post this, but if I do end up posting this and you do end up seeing it, I'm just saying do it for you, because we live in a world of takers. Take us, take us, take us, take us, and only you can give you what you need.